Hey, what's going on everyone? Chris back with another video. This one I'm excited about more than you can imagine. I flew out to Palo Alto to check out the Playground headquarters and the Essential PH-1 debut at their event on the 18th. So I was invited by Kay. She was actually a community manager at Nextbit. She's now with Essential. So I want to give her a huge thanks and shout out for this opportunity. So the event basically was a huge party, an announcement of their new phone, lots of food and drinks. There's a DJ with live music, a lot of people that you're able to meet and talk to, very like-minded and excited about the Essential phone. Pretty much you were able to speak to engineers, a lot of different of the employees that were there, asking them just questions about the phone. So we got to see and check out their headquarters a little bit. A lot of it was blocked off. We were able to, again, talk to all the employees if we wanted to, ask questions about the phone, software, things like that. Of course, some things were still under wraps. We got to look at their huge prototyping manufacturing area here, which was really cool to see because they're able to do all their manufacturing in-house for prototyping. So we got to see first hands-on with the actual product, with the different prototypes of them manufacturing. Here we can see basically the phone in its entirety just with the screen off. The phone is packed. There's literally no wasted space in here, even though people say there's no headphone jack, which is a caveat, but if you look at inside, there's really nothing that anything else can be fit inside of this thing. They have the Pogo pins for your mods that you're able to add on to at a later time if you want. So the specs are the Snapdragon 835, the latest greatest chipset. It does have a 5.71-inch IPS LCD display with Corning Gorilla Glass 5. That is a Quad HD display on top of that. 4 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage, and then later on we'll get into the cameras. So the main feature of this phone is that the frame of the phone is made out of purely titanium. It's very strong, very scratch and drop resistant, very resistant to any sort of damage, flexing, things like that. They had samples of a stainless steel frame, an aluminum, and then the difference between that and the titanium. Stainless steel is very heavy. Aluminum, which most phones are made out of, is very soft. And that's the reason why a lot of phones and their screens crack, is because of the aluminum being soft and able to be bent when you drop it. That puts additional pressure and stress on the glass, which then causes it to crack, whereas titanium, you're going to have that rigidity. The back of the phone, this back panel, is made out of ceramic, so it's going to be very scratch resistant, almost scratch resistant 100% to scratches, dents, things like that. It is completely RF see-through, so antennas and frequencies, signals are able to pass through it. Here we have the copper, which is going to be for that aqua green type color. It's going to be coming out later. Unfortunately, no word on when that's going to happen, but the copper frame is gorgeous. I really fell in love with it. They have the different types of back panels as far as prototypes. The ceramic is very thin, thin tolerances that they are making this phone to. So we can see here the battery is a 3040 milliamp hour battery. Down at the bottom you have your USB-C charging port, your speaker, and then your SIM tray slot, which is an odd placement, but because there's no other room to fit this, because up at the top you have your dual cameras, you have your front-facing 8 megapixel camera, the rear dual 13 megapixel camera, and you also have that Pogo pin port that will be for your mods. On the back you have your fingerprint scanner, and you also have the mic. On the sides you have your power and volume buttons. The power button is not textured. It's the same as the volume, but it is a little bit smaller, so it's easier to differentiate between the two. Left side there's nothing, and on the top there's just a mic. Nothing real fancy there. So at first at launch, they are just going to release the Black Moon version. Later on, they'll be releasing the white one. Not sure when that's going to be out, but and then later on, who knows how long, they'll have additional colors as well. So here we can see kind of just the different prototypes of the different materials that they're experimenting with, the finishes, things like that. You are able to see the matte versus a gloss finish. So they are planning to release a matte back version of maybe the black one and some of the other colors. They are not going to release, from what I was told, a matte white, because the white picked up a lot of material from it rubbing against different surfaces like your pants, a tabletop, things like that. Because it is ceramic and it was matte, there is a small abrasion, kind of like a very fine 2000 grit sandpaper, so over time it would change color. Here's the matte black, which I absolutely loved. I really hope that I can get a hand on the matte black version, but the back ceramic is very, very thin, and then here's the gloss black, which is going to be standard on the Black Moon, or the Dark Moon. So some of these other colors, I'm not sure quite why or what they were trying to achieve with them. Maybe just checking out how it would look. But again, lots of people were able to ask questions with the different associates and employees, things like that. So now onto the camera. So this is the module for the 360 camera, taking the case off. So it has a dual 12 megapixel cameras for your 360. This is the world's smallest 360 camera, and inside that they had to keep the processing cool on the camera, which they had to create and incorporate a very, very small fan as well. So the camera on the phone itself, again, dual 13 megapixel with a 1.9 aperture. They had to custom make these cameras for them to fit and be so small. It does use the RGB and the monochrome setup, so you're going to have very dark, detailed black colors. You're able to shoot in just full monochrome mode, and then the picture should come out very crisp and color. So here's the 360 camera with the full case on it. On the side it is rubber, so it's easy to grip and hold on to, which is nice. And then you have those pogo pins. Now these pogo pins are plated, they're not going to corrode or they're not going to tarnish over time, which is nice, and that's the same on the phone itself. So this would have the dual cameras giving you that full 360 range of view. Each camera has a 210 angle lens on it. So here we can see the rear dual camera setup on the phone itself. Again, one's monochrome, one is the RGB. I don't think there is any hardware stabilization, so it's going to be all electronic stabilization, unfortunately. You do have the LED flash. It will be able to record in 4K, 30 frames a second, 1080p, 60 frames a second. Now the front-facing camera is the 8 megapixel sensor, which is right there in the middle of your status bar, which is going to be pretty iconic for the Essential phone. One of the great things the front-facing camera can do is it can record in 4K. I don't think I've yet to see that in another phone, which is really great. You're not going to have to choose which camera you want to record in. And then they were able to show us some kind of like display models as far as how it's going to be in stores. And here's just a demo of the 360 camera. It can take video and photos, and then while in the phone you can move around while it's recording to see your field of view. The modules are going to be attached via a magnet, which is actually fairly strong. It's not going to be knocked off very easily, but if it does, it's no need to worry of you getting electrocuted or anything like that. Though yes, since it is just a magnet, eventually it's going to get hit if someone hits it, if you're, let's say, at a concert or anything like that. But it's very easy to attach and to remove. And that camera module, small enough, I would say, almost to fit into like one of the jean coin pocket, I would say. but because this is very early as far as software goes, it does take a little bit of time for the phone to actually open the camera app. They are working on fixes and improving that. There was already an OTA update. If you hadn't heard on some of the other reviewers' videos, that OTA helped fix and improve the camera quality altogether. But the UI is very simple. Hopefully they're going to add a more advanced pro mode option in there in the future. So again, the phone itself is very gorgeous. It's a work of art, I must say. I loved holding it. I'm very excited to get my hands on it. Here it is compared to my Mi Mix. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment and ask away. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.